Okay, lesson 17. Let's first talk about subscripted variables. Remember the word sub, think of it like submarine. So they're low down here. Okay, so it's a subscript. And remember too that anytime you talk about a system of equations, it just means more than one. So here we have n sub n plus n sub d equals 40. We have 5 times n sub n plus 10 times n sub d equals 250. So this is a system of equations, so we're going to solve it like we learned to do the others. If I add them together, they don't cancel out either of the variables. So I'm going to multiply one of the equations by a number in order to do that. Now I could either multiply it by -5, which would eliminate that, or I could multiply it by -10, which would eliminate this one. Now I'm going to choose the -10 because I'm less likely to make a mistake with that multiplication, because all you're doing is adding a negative and a 0. So -10 n sub n minus 10 n sub d equals -400. Then I have this one. Again, I'll just rewrite it underneath it so that I don't make a mistake. These cancel. This would be -5 n sub n. This is -400 and a positive 250, so it's a -150. Now I need to divide both sides by -5 and I'll get 30. Now I need to go back and find my other one. So I'll just take the first equation, n sub n plus n sub d equals 40. I plug this in for this one. And you can probably just do it in your head. You don't really have to even show this if you can do it in your head. So I've got these two. Now I'm not writing it as a coordinate because these are not equations of lines. Okay? Okay, and here's another example with subscripts. So they give you these kind of equations in the book. Now, let me tell you, the first thing I'm going to tell you is don't copy it down like they have it in the book like that. Copy the first one, then go to the second one and copy it underneath like this. R sub m equals 40. Okay? Then go to the next one and put R sub w equals 60. Then when you copy down the next one, put T sub m plus T sub w equals 5. So that it doesn't look like it does in the book. That's very confusing. Okay? They do that just for printing purposes. So what I want to think about, though, is when they're like this, I know that I'm going to take every one of these in the bottom and I'm going to plug them into the top. Okay? So this one I'm going to plug in right here. This one I'm going to plug in right here. This one I need to solve for one of those variables so I can plug it in. So I'll just take this and I'll move this one to the other side. So it's 5 minus t sub w. Okay. Now I'm going to start plugging in. So on the first one I got 40. For t sub m, I've got 5 minus t sub w. Plus, for r sub w, I've got 60. And I don't have t sub w. That's okay. See, it's one variable here now. And so I've got this. Now I can do distributive property. I get 200 minus 40 t sub w plus 60 t sub w equals 260. These are like terms. So you add those up. Subtract 200 from both sides, and then divide by 20. So you get t sub w, got one of them, I need to find the other one. Well, that's really easy because I can just plug it in right here. And I can just do that in my head. I've got 5 minus 3, so that's going to be 2. Okay? All right. Now the next part is these angle relationships that you learned in geometry. So as a review, I said, hint, these are talking about parallel lines intersected by a transversal. Yeah, I said if you don't remember that from geometry, no problem. Just remember, if two parallel lines are intersected by another one, then all the big angles are congruent and all the little angles are congruent. That means all the obtuse angles are congruent and all the acute angles are congruent. So if you have two parallel lines and they're cut by a transversal, like this, then all of my obtuse angles are going to be congruent and all of the acute angles are going to be congruent. Okay, so what if they give you this, and they tell you that this is 50 degrees, that this is 7x minus 2y, And this was 5x minus 10y. Okay, what if they told you that? Okay? Then you know this is acute and that is acute. This is acute and that is acute. So that one and that one are congruent. So 50 equals 5x minus 10y. Right? Okay? I know that if I add these two together, they have to add up to 180 degrees. So that means that this one has to add up to 130 degrees. So I know that 130 degrees is going to be my 7x minus 2y. Okay, now I have two equations with two unknowns, and now I'm going to do elimination. If I multiply this one by a negative 5, then I'll get a positive 10y here. I'll get a negative 35x there. And I'll get a, negative 650 here. Then I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to add them together. And when I do that, the 10y's are going to cancel. 5x and negative 35 is negative 30x. And these two will be negative 600. So divide by your negative 30, and you'll get that 20 is x. So x is 20. If I want to find y, I just plug it back into one of these equations. So I'm going to do 50 equals 5 times x minus 10y. So 50 equals 100 minus 10y. Subtract 100 from both sides. Then divide both sides by negative 10. And you get that y is 5. Okay, hope that helps.